Hey, fight fans, happy Monday. Hope you all had a great weekend. This is Ray Peck from Split Decision Boxing. Just going to talk about one of the fights that happened over the weekend in the UK at the O2 Arena. A domestic matchup, heavyweight matchup. Two fighters I'm sure you both know a lot about. I did do a video about them previous to this. So Derek Chisora from London fought David Price, who, as you know, is from Liverpool. So there was that rivalry going on there as well, which made it all the more mouth-watering. I predicted in my last video that Chisora would be too big and too strong, or certainly too strong for him, for Price. And I predicted that he would probably win around about round 6, possibly 7. Actually didn't go as long as that, because Chisora effectively stopped Price at the end of round 4. In fact, the corner threw in the towel after Price had gone down and was taking quite a lot of heavy punishment at the end of that round. There's a bit of debate there as to whether the towel should have come in. I can see that. I can understand why, if you're a fan paying to see the fight, and if you feel that he still had more to offer. I think one thing you need to bear in mind, if you've seen this fight, is that it was a matter of time before he got knocked spark out. So I guess in the interest of keeping, stopping somebody getting seriously hurt, his corner and the referee did the right thing. It was I thought a fairly uneventful fight, to be honest. Chisora did what I thought he would do. He came forward. He did sling quite a few big rights, try and go in over the top like haymakers, as he's known to do. But what I did see, which surprised me, was his use of the jab. He was doubling up on the jab quite good. He himself makes no bones about the fact that he says, I'm not a boxer, I'm not very good at boxing, but I'm a fighter, that's what I do. But he did show some boxing skills, I thought, on Saturday night. He slipped and ducked and weaved and bobbed around, kept it, moved. He had good head movement. He was difficult to hit. And as I say, he fought behind the jab on quite a lot of the occasions throughout that fight. And wore him down. He just refused to go backwards, just kept going forward. And when the time came, by at the end of the 4th round, he caught him on the top of the head, sort of around that area, and Price went down on his knees, got back up, beat the count, but the corner threw in the towel. Now they may have seen something there may have been something that went on behind the scenes before the fight. He's in training, or we don't know. There may have been an issue that they knew about, which nobody else did. So they felt it was in his best interest for health reasons to throw the towel in. So we can't argue with that. Having said that, Price did catch Chisora with a very good uppercut at the end of the 3rd round. Chisora said in the post-fight interviews, he said that he caught me with a really good shot. He said, quote unquote, he said I was dancing for a bit. Obviously it shook him up. So what next for Chisora? Where does he go from here? So he's lost a lot of fights. We know that he's lost a hell of a lot of fights, but I thought he looked better as a boxer on Saturday than I've seen him probably ever look. He wasn't as reckless. If you remember the fights with Dillian Whyte and people like that, they've been wars. They have been, he lived up to his name and standing there just trading blows. I thought it was a much more thought out, much more reasoned performance from Chisora. I think he looked fitter than I've ever seen him look as well. He looked very muscular as opposed to fat, if that makes sense. He said, actually, after the fight, when I saw this on YouTube, he said he wants to fight. He's ready to fight. This fight only lasted 4 rounds. He's trained for a 12-round fight. He's still fit and fresh. He wasn't hurt at all. And he said he wants to fight on the AJ card in Saudi. And he asked David Haye to make that representation to Eddie Hearn. Well, he did make that representation to Eddie Hearn, and Eddie Hearn said, no way, that's not going to happen. Which I think is a bit strange, because if they could make a fight there, add it on that card, that's going to be a cracking card, I don't know. If the opportunity is there, if he's willing to fight, he's willing to put himself on the line so soon after fighting this last fight, and if he feels ready, then why not? Why not give him give Parker another chance? Or I guess Usyk is in the running. Haye has suggested that Usyk is the favourite now to fight Chisora. It's a bit of a controversial one. Johnny Nelson, who's been interviewed on Sky, and said he thinks that would be a mistake for Chisora, because Usyk is, if he steps up to heavyweight, he's the future. This is quote unquote. He said he's the future of the heavyweight division. I'm not sure I necessarily agree with that, to be honest, but there you go. So there's split thought about who would be a good opponent for Chisora next. I think you've got to ask yourself now, how many more chances does, let's talk about price in a second, but how many more chances does Chisora get? There's not many fighters that I would say can lose 9 times and still be considered candidates for potential being for a world title shot, which is obviously what he will want. But having said that, he looked good. He looked good against a credible opponent last Saturday night. So he's back on the scene, as it were. Does it make for another White Chisora fight? It'd sell out. That would be another cracking, sell out on a domestic level. But who achieves what out of that? I don't really know. The heavyweight division at the moment is probably the healthiest I can remember it being for a long time. There's lots of contenders out there, so it's, although it's good for the fans, it's much harder for the fighters, because if you want to push through to make a claim to get to get a title shot, there's lots and lots of fighters out there that are on equal, they're equal with you, they're equal standings, and it's sellability as well, isn't it? If Hearn or DAZN or Warren or any of them, want to sell fights, it's not always just about how good you are these days, unfortunately, because it is a business. I think Chisora puts bums on the seats, absolutely, domestically. Whether he would on the world stage, I don't really know. He's lost a world title fight. He lost to Klitschko, didn't he? A while ago now. So does he deserve another shot? I think he deserves to be in the pot. He deserves to. You've got to take your hat off to the man, haven't you? That he's a fighter. He keeps going. He keeps going. No matter how many times you knock him, he gets knockbacks. Here he is. He's still fighting, and he's still showing that he's got hunger. So desire, there's a lot to be said for it. And if providing you've got an amount of skill, and you've still got your health, and you've still got age on your side, and your wits about you, and your reflexes and stamina, then why shouldn't you just keep going for it? Keep trying. You don't get nothing if you don't try. But what about price? Now, where does that leave David Price? I said in my last video, David Price had only lost 6 fights up till Saturday night. but his level of opponents, I said, wasn't on the same level that Chisora had fought, although Chisora had lost 9 fights. Well, now he's lost 7 fights. And I personally, I've never been a huge fan of Price. He's 6'8", fit as a fiddle, but I don't know. I think he's very limited. I think his skill is very limited. Skill level is very limited. When he steps up in class, he loses. It's as simple as that. So, what does he do? Does he become a journeyman now? Does he become just on the domestic level fighting and never really having that opportunity again to fight for a world title? I don't know. Does he hang up his gloves now? It's a difficult one. I wish him well, whatever happens to him. But I hope he makes the right decision. If there was problems, which is why they threw the towel in, then perhaps he needs to take, obviously, medical advice and the advice of people who know him and his family, and take a decision from there. So that's it, folks. Derek Chisora, he beat David Price. End of the 4th round. They threw the card in, threw the towel in. I predicted it would be the 6th round. Wasn't bad, was it? I was basically around out because it was the end of the 4th, so you could almost call that 5th. So right. I predicted once again the right outcome, just the wrong round. Take care, folks. Keep liking this. Give it the thumbs up. Leave a comment. Share. Like. And please subscribe. Thanks, guys. This is Ray Peck from Split Decision.